Hi everyone, it's Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead introduction into the Rick Grimes movie. What a bombshell Fear the Walking Dead did last night, right in the middle of doing our reaction stream where people were coming out of the gates, 7, 8, 7.5. It's like, wait a minute, what just happened here? We got a Rick Grimes Easter egg. Unbelievable. We're going to talk about that tonight. Before we get too far into it, special shout out to the Patreon Army. You can see them up on the screen. And also, I see Valar in the house. What's up, Valar? Valar saying, hello, 99 Army, Kill Steph, Emmy Kill, Sweet Tommy sponsors, Patreons, channel members, and all the super chatters. Missed you guys, and we certainly missed you as well, Valar. Appreciate you being here. It's good to see you back. And we've got some really, really cool stuff to talk about. I've seen everybody jumping on the timeline. So let me tell you, there is no exact timeline at this point. There's three things that are very, very vague, and we're going to try to funnel that down. However, I think we do have the Rick Grimes visit capture narrowed down between a 6-month and a 9-month window, somewhere in that time frame, give or take a month or two. Several things will go into that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to funnel it down tonight. But I do also, I want to talk about something that hasn't been discussed, the A, the B. I know people are talking about before, after, some of those things. I think it's going to be a little different. So I'm going to give you my my bold prediction. And as you guys know, we have been pretty close on some of these bold predictions. Just a week and a half ago, one of our streams, we made the super bold prediction that The Walking Dead would tie The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead, introduce some villains that would be the segue into the Rick Grimes movie, and lo and behold, before the spoilers came out, we were on top of this. So also, the helicopter people back and forth. A lot of people were talking about the helicopter people, but I think we took it to a whole different level. So if you guys don't know what we're about, you don't know what the 99 Army does, we come up with some pretty good, we get into the mind of the writers, of like how we would write it, and we funnel it down. So if you guys have been listening to the playbacks, you would know that. I did have a couple people, it was interesting, because I had a couple of people, they're like, Kills, I listen to all the playbacks, and then they send me links of this, I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but they'll send me information and say, oh, did you hear that? And it was like, yeah, we talked about that in the last episode. Guess you didn't catch the whole playback. You got to listen to the whole thing, everybody. You got to stick around and read the comments, read the chats. So I think Charmed, a couple other people were talking about time frames earlier today in the stream. I just saw some bits and pieces, and I know some other people are out there trying to pinpoint exactly what happened. Here's the problem with the Fear timeline. The Walking Dead might be a little bit easier to pinpoint, but Fear really narrows it down to how long was Morgan at the junkyard waiting for the eggplants to grow? We don't know. We know about how long, 6 to 8 months. So we don't have an exact time frame with that. How long did it take Morgan to get from Virginia to Texas? We don't know. We don't know if he stopped along the way. We don't know if it was a week journey. We don't know if it was a couple months. We assume it wasn't too long. Not exact, Casey. 6 months. Scott Gimple said about how long, 6 months to 8 months, 6 months, 7 months. The reason that's important is because it could be 5 months. It could be 7 months. We got a range there. How long did it take him to get there? All right, Madison and the stadium. The assumption is that all that took place somewhere within a year's time frame, but could have been 10 months, could have been 14 months. So there you go. You got another couple of months along the way. And if you listened to Ian and Andrew last night when they talked about how much time transpired in between the end of 4 and 5, 3 to 4 months. So based on all those scenarios, you can't come up with an exact time frame. But what you can do is you can probably get this somewhere between 6 months before Rick was taken to right up almost to the time. I think it's somewhere between 6 months before they got him and 1 or 2 months away, which means there's still some things that need to go down with Althea, with, is she going to make it out? So I got a question for the group. When Jadis phoned in, was Rick an A or a B? A or a B? Let's test the knowledge of the group. Rick was a B. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think that's important. Jadis wanted an A. Rick was a B. All right, I'm going to let this settle in for a little bit. Newfield's like, and? Okay. What is important about this is, keep in mind, Jadis has known these people. I think Rick is not in Texas. And I'm not saying it's for Austin to Boston, but I think the A and the B are locations that certain people get taken to. For example, someone that could be healthy that they want to test, for example, could go to the A zone. Someone that's injured that Jadis is pleading for help. This is a friend of mine. I need a favor. This is a friend of mine. He's a B. He's injured. I think we might be looking too far into it that A means after, before, bitten, any of those things. What's the capital of Texas? Anybody? Real quick quiz here. Just something I want to throw out there. The capital of Texas is Austin. If you notice, there were A's and B's. They are in Texas. And what did you notice about the maps? When Althea pulled out the maps, what's the main thing that you noticed? Most people are going to say the 3 rings. All right, but if you guys could do me a favor, if you look at the screen and you look at the map, up under the number 20, what letter do you see? You got to really, really zoom into it, but you can see it in the bottom right corner. A. So they're in Texas. There's no B there. It's an A. It's an A with a square. Just like was on the helicopter. Will the bill? Camcorder lady has some secrets. Well, Althea, the camcorder lady, hopefully she gets a chance to tell some of those. See, what really struck me about Rick Grimes, and I think this is it's kind of like a fake out, an okie doke, kind of a false narrative, is I think they want us to think that Rick is in Texas. But I'm going to say he's not. I think there's two groups. I think there's the A group and there's the B group. And the A is clearly doing some experimenting. But Jadis did not call them to experiment on Rick. She called him because Rick was going to die. If she thought that Rick was going to be tortured or something was going to happen to him, I'm pretty sure she would have just let him stay out there and said, you know what? She was calling, begging them to help Rick. This group, the A group with the map, doesn't look like a very helpful, friendly group in my mind. All right, got a couple super chats in here. We got Fluff. Happy birthday to the sweet ass enforcer, Man Bun McCandless. Tommy, happy birthday to you. And I do want to take a moment and Steph the Cuervo Queen, happy birthday to Tommy. I second that. And Fluff, happy birthday, Tommy. So let's all take a moment and wish Tommy the Man Bun a super happy birthday. And he is here hanging out with us, spending some time with us. Thank you so much, Tommy. Another fellow Gemini. Tommy and I have the same birth month. Okay. I'll sing it, Crystal. The birthday song for Tommy. It's not my job on your birthday anymore. There you go, Tommy. Happy birthday to you. And could you guys all do me a favor? You guys put and pop that like button. So, to wish Tommy a happy birthday. If you guys are having a good time, you like The Walking Dead, you love our moderators, then hit that like button real quick. Tommy is having a happy birthday. Your birthday will be happy. There you go, Tommy. Your birthday wish from Alpha. Just for you, buddy. I love it. Lisa Marie's like, Fear was very good. I want to renege on my comment last night. I said it was boring. Not this season. A lot of people jumped the gun on that. And now everything is just buzzing. Like, oh my God, we got some news about Rick. So I've also heard this group, some people said it's the Commonwealth. Some people said, no, it can't be the Commonwealth. Commonwealth is in Ohio. First of all, it can be the Commonwealth. They don't have to make them in Ohio. They can write the story however they want to on the TV show. So we don't know that for a fact. Valar, instead of the white uniform in the comic, they twisted and gave them black uniforms for the Commonwealth. Exactly. Very possible. If it's one thing that we should have learned from The Walking Dead, is they're not afraid to mix it up from the comic. Just when you think it's supposed to go a certain way, they'll change it on you. Now, here's what we do know. After they took Rick and Jadis, we don't think they came back. Because it wasn't part of the story. Now, they could have came back a couple miles away, picked up some B character, but it's implied, it's understood that the last trip that this group made was to pick up Rick and Jadis, and they were done. Nobody talked about them. Nobody heard about it. Then we went to the time skip. The chopper people were done. So in Fear, it's 6 months before they got Rick up until the time they got Rick. Somewhere in that range. We don't think it's happened yet. But it's interesting that we don't know what's going to happen with Althea either. Or if Morgan's going to take out some of this group. Or if what Morgan and Al and June and John and everybody do to this group is what escalates the situation and gets them to come back. Now, here's something that is interesting as well. How long was it roughly that we didn't see the helicopter people? Okay, so we saw the helicopter people with Negan and Jadis at the junkyard. Right? And then after Negan saw them, Jadis did not have any contact with them for a year and a half, correct? Let's approach this from a little different perspective. Because when Jadis was talking to them again, I'll have to go back and look up the exact dialogue, but they've been a little busy. No, not, well, I know that, Chris. But prior to the Rick, from the time that Negan saw them to the time that Jadis was going to leave with Father G, that was about 18 months. Because they finished All Out War, and then, you know, we're building. We're going to build a bridge. We got a windmill. Remember, you know, everybody was happy. They're going to the museum. First time skip. So we saw them right before the end of All Out War, and we didn't hear from them again for 18 months. Okay. Does it make sense that they relocated and now they're doing their thing in Texas? That maybe they're kind of jumping around a little bit. Why didn't we see them for 18 months? Because they're doing this stuff down in Austin or wherever they're at, somewhere in Texas, and they're having to deal with Morgan and Althea and the rest of the group. But clearly they get away because they're still going to go back and get Rick. So that's what's a little bit confusing. That's what we got to keep in perspective. They're not going to be killed. And could they perhaps get a couple people to join them? Maybe Althea joins them. Will the Bill, Freestyle Monday, kills coin to kill. Sorry, continue a few days early. You're way early, Will. We are going to give out a couple of kills coins, though, today. Kel's going to set up a ledger. If you guys see a comment you really like, something that we need to read, then nominate it, throw some kills coins up there, and we'll pick a few people. Well, the reason I bring this up is, first of all, we have this perspective of, are they good people or bad people? So let me ask you, the people that just put the taser on Althea, heroes or villains? Now, I know the knee-jerk reaction. June Smith says bad. Grimes on radio says villain. What makes you so certain they're villains? I mean, you guys seem pretty convinced they're bad guys. What makes you so sure they're bad guys? If it's the same group that just went and saved Rick, well, June, they didn't necessarily take Rick to take him. They took him to help him, you would think, because Jadis is the one that radioed it in. Najee Watt says it's possible they were hijacked since a body was found by Althea and Rick's taken by new people piloting the plane. Well, Najee, it doesn't seem likely to me because this seemed to be the same group of people that Jadis has been talking to all along. I do like this, though. Logan 5. I would nominate this for a Kills coin. If you guys like Logan 5's comment here, I really like this. I think they're scientists, however, they're morally flexible scientists. You know, that comment really hits home with me. Maybe they're like some of these scientists on The Passage, where they're experimenting and they think they're doing the right thing and they're doing something to try to help, but it crosses the line a little bit and you don't know whether it's going to help or you don't know, at what level do you sacrifice? At what level is enough enough? Do you just give up on your research? Yeah, I like that. Kel, if you can put Logan 5 up for a Kills coin for Freestyle Friday. I do think there is some moral flexibility. Umbrella Corp? Yeah, I don't think they're that hardcore. And that's a good point. Newfield says, whether you're a hero or a villain depends on your perspective. Will the Bill. Rick is safe. They are studying people that have survived for so long, and Trash Queen is sending them the leaders, the strongest leaders. Well, it also depends on how much you think Jadis really knows about the group. See, I'm of the mindset, and I know some people thought strong, weak, leaders, not leaders. I mean, I don't think Jadis has given them a psych evaluation. That she's sitting back and she's got her notes. But I do think the behavior is something. Look, she said to Father G, I thought you were an A. And that was based on whether he was willing to go with her, whether he was going to go back and tell Rick. It was based on his behavior in some form. But then Rick was a B, and Rick was a B because he wasn't capable. So based on Father G and Rick, what's the one thing that they have in common at that moment? No, David, because she knew Father G was not infected. So Rick and Father G were both Bs, but initially, exactly. Dark Star, see, that's my point. They were both weak in some capacity. Father G seemed to be like he wasn't strong enough to go on his own. He wasn't strong enough to stand up. He wasn't ready to leave on his own, and he was going to go back and tell Rick, which is a sign of weakness. Rick couldn't even stand on his own, which is a sign of weakness as well. They were both. Shane probably would have been an A. Abraham probably would have been an A, as long as they weren't injured. So, I look at two people that were either kind of broken down, but Rick needed help, and she made that call for Rick. She didn't have to. She could have let him die. So, the way I look at A and B is A would be someone that is strong enough to go through some of the rigorous testing that they may have to go through. And B is probably somebody that's too weak to do it. And I think, back to Logan's point, you have scientists, you have doctors, and some are going to test the strong and some are going to help the weak. And I think you're going to see both of those things in play here. Yeah, Dave, I don't think it has anything to do with being bitten, though, because neither Father G nor Rick were bitten. And here's where I could kind of take that a step further. What we know about Fear the Walking Dead is, or what we think we know at this point, they're in Texas, that we know. Althea saw what appeared to be a fairly healthy person that either had just died but had not turned as fast as some of the other. It looked like he was maintaining some of his own. They could be doing radioactive testing on some of these. We've heard that as well. That they're testing them, they're making them a little bit stronger to see what kills them. All of those experiments are a possibility. But we also know that there's map overlays, and there's A's listed on the map overlays. So I'm almost wondering, is A means you get taken to Texas and you get the A experiment, and B means you get taken somewhere else and you get treated. if I had to go out on a limb right now, well, the limb would probably break. But if I had to make a bold prediction right now, I think that's how we're going to go into the movie. Not knowing the people that Rick are with and seeing a little bit more of these morally flexible people. We got June Smith. Hold on. Rick was the strongest leader ever. He became weak by caring too much, but strong. He held that group down for years. He was a B because he was injured. Exactly. That was exactly the point, June. No one's saying Rick is emotionally weak. I think weakness comes in a lot of different baskets, but she was not willing to call in and take Father G as a B. So I think B is a general statement for weak, and A, whether you want to say alpha, beta, whatever the case may be, I think we're putting too much on whether you're a leader or a follower. Najee Watts, A's are the test subjects for sure. I think B's would join the research team. That's why the helicopter men didn't want to be when Jadis called. I'm down with it. I'm absolutely down with it. So, back to what we started with at the beginning of this video is I think there's all this hype and all this buzz about Rick being in Texas, and I don't think he's in Texas. I think Rick was taken to a completely different group. All right, I'm going to explain this again, William. William says, I don't get it. Jadis knew Rick. He survived. Hell, why would he be a B? All right, let me say this again, because I think some of you guys are typing. I've said it multiple times. I can't say it again. All right, I'm going to try to be more clear. All right. You can't just look at it from whether you're a leader, a strong leader, or a fake leader. All we can go on is what the characters said to each other. Jadis wanted to take Father G away and disappear. He started whining. He started crying. He didn't want to do it. He said he had to go tell Rick. She said to him, I thought you were an A, but you're a B. So based on what we saw from her conversation, the fact that he was not headstrong, the fact that he could not stand on his own, the fact that he wasn't ready to leave and leave everything behind, shows that he might have been weak, emotionally weak, and not able to withstand either training or testing or any of those things. Basically, he would break. He would break down. He's already breaking down. So he couldn't withstand it, okay? So that makes him a B, according to Jadis. Now, Jadis wanted a way out. And she couldn't lie to those people. So when Rick was injured, Rick probably non-injured could be an A. They could take Rick, he'd be tough, you could torture him, you could beat him, you could test him, you could do whatever, he'd be an A. Rick was bleeding to death. So when she called it in, she said, I have a B. I need a favor. Knowing that you're not going to be able to do anything with this person except save his life. So once again, if Father G and Rick are both Bs, then there's something weak, either emotionally or physically, that would make them a B. And if she thought Father G was tougher, then you would think someone that is emotionally stable and strong would have been the A. So you kind of got to get out of, there's too many floating theories of after, before, bitten, not bitten, leader, non-leader. All of those things can't be correct. all we can go on is based on the dialogue of Jadis. That's all we got. Nothing more. Anything else we add to it's going to be complete speculation. I mean, and I've got no problem with speculation because that's the way we come up with some of our best theories. But if we're going to base it on something concrete, the only thing we have concrete at this point is Jadis's interaction with the two of them. Now, I got the super chat. I'm going to give you one more example. Princess Pie. I like the way you're thinking, Kills, but do you think they will go that far in the story? Why using Fear the Walking Dead for Rick Grimes' movie instead of The Walking Dead? I'm confused, to be honest. Is it just about money? No. See, Princess Pie, they can't do it on The Walking Dead because they've skipped 6 years in time. So they have to use Fear the Walking Dead as the vehicle because Rick, 6 years in time, will be in Rick's third movie. And they got to start with Rick's first movie, which is going to be almost the time frame of Fear the Walking Dead, number one. Number two, it doesn't hurt Fear the Walking Dead's ratings to have a Rick Grimes storyline floating in the background. That's great for business. So that's why I would say that. I got one more example. Okay. There was one more person that Jadis was going to send up on a helicopter. Do you know who it is? And that person was an A. So think about the personalities. One more person. Negan. And there was one other person that was taken that was most likely an A. Which other person was taken that we know 100% for certain they were taken? Heath. So you potentially have Heath could have been an A. Negan could have been an A. Rick could have been an A. Father G could have been an A. But it didn't happen that way. Negan didn't get taken. Wasn't injured, but he didn't get taken. So, to me, these A's are strong characters that can withstand whatever this group is going to throw at them. Ecom, hey Kills, do we know exactly why Jadis wanted to leave in the first place? All I remember is her being a little paranoid. Hope we learn more about it. Well, she didn't fit in. She was very standoffish with Rick's group. I'll have to go back and check on it. I just remember, she's kind of walking around and she felt like people were talking about her. And, yeah, it just didn't. She lost all her people. And certainly, there can be a lot more to it, Ecom. I'll have to go back and sort of read between the lines on it. Now, Heath was probably an A, and he was taken against his will because his glasses fell. But we also have a key card. And when the key card came out 2 years ago, what did we say? We were probably one of the first to say this PPP key card. People were saying, PPP, it means the whispers, it's a low note. Come on. That was, I'm going to stop. I think it's safe to say PPP had nothing to do with the whispers. But what we said is that Heath was probably taken by the same people with the helicopter, and the key card is a way to get into a highly secure area. Looks like that might be playing itself out. We know for a fact, it's confirmed, that Heath was taken with that group. We also know that he's going to be in the Rick Grimes movies. Confirmed. But it's playing out really nicely. Will the Bill? Well, heck, Rick Grimes movies, he's walking up to June's mailbox and Michonne is in the bushes crying like a high school breakup. So I'm confused now. Will, I think you just made me confused. PPP, Princess Pie prequel. Okay, you know what? I think that deserves a kills coin. What do you guys think? Princess Pie has been super chatting it up lately. So let's see. Let's see if the green team's going to vote. All right. Add it to the list, Kel. Now, it is rumored that if you hold the key card up to a mirror, that it would be 999. And looks like we nailed the theory, so we should get a little bit of credit for that. Sheila Mac 10, could Jadis have just lied to the helicopter people? She's afraid of those people. She's been working with them for a while, and she's been trading people. Now, here's a little tidbit. You guys want a tidbit? You want to know something that has went under the radar? If you guys want to know, like, a top secret kills blast from the past, hit the like button right now, and I'm going to remind you of something and tell you exactly what Jadis was doing. All right. Here's the deal. Okay. Interactive, you guys have to play along. Did Jadis care about her people? Yes or no? I'm going to paint the picture for you right now and tell you exactly how all this happened and why it happened. She did, right? She cared about those junkyard people. How did she get food for all those people? This is going to be about a 5-part questionnaire, and I want you to stick with me through the whole thing. She loved her people. How did she get food to feed them? The helicopter people, right? You guys saw the applesauce. They kept dropping off food, A's and B's. Why did Jadis betray Rick? Question number 3. And how many people did she want to get from Negan? Some people are hitting it right on the head for all the questions. Some people are like, you're figuring out where I'm going with this. For 12 people. So, Jadis betrayed Rick to get 12 people from Negan to trade those 12 people to the helicopter people for food so she could continue to feed her own people. So she didn't have to sacrifice her own. So these people have a ton of resources. I mean, they are willing to drive a helicopter over and go back and forth, do food drops just to get people to experiment on. Look, they're not picking up these people just for the heck of it. They're not picking them up just to make a happy life for them. They're out there trying to find random people. Now, here's the big reveal. What is Morgan's group trying to do? Seems obvious. Help people. But what big hint did Morgan drop to everybody last night? What's the problem with them finding and helping people? They either don't want to be found or they're dead. So this group does not have a reliable pipeline of people. So they have to go to more populated areas. Look, we're in a zombie apocalypse. There are not large groups of living people. So when you come across a group like Jadis that can make contacts with other people, that's your pipeline. So Negan kind of had it right to a degree. People are a resource, and for the scientist group, for a twisted reason. But they're willing to give all this food up to experiment. And I don't think it's just to make a few walker weapons. It's not to make some radioactive walkers or some Winslows. These people are doing experiments to find the cure. They are looking for a cure. All right. And June, back to your super chat. So June's super chat a while back was, okay, so is all the junkyards A's? June, you can't really tell whether they were all A's or not because they could have been, but if they were weak and they would break down, they may not have been a resource for this group. So I guess we won't know. There were probably a couple that could have been A's. There's probably some that could have been B's that might not have been up for the testing, that couldn't have physically, mentally, or emotionally handled it. So, if you're testing people for a cure, would you think that somebody would have to be strong physically? So you could watch how their body behaves to it? You think that they'd have to be strong mentally so they didn't break down and they didn't lose their mind? So you're probably going to try to get some of the best to push it to a whole different level. Now, let's go back to a stream we did. We'll see how close you guys paid attention. I know you don't remember every stream, but this should be a slam dunk. So in several streams about a year ago, we're talking about Eugene and we're talking about rebuilding, and people asked me like, well, what would be the point? And I said, if I were living, or if I were in that role, the only thing that would be important to me would be what? Yes, you were drinking, Darkstar. And some of you said, well, you know, you live, you fight, you survive. And I said, nope, not surviving. Exactly, Kimberly M. The only reason would be to find a cure. And I would exhaust every resource to find a cure. Because otherwise, what's the point? You might as well just let a walker devour you. There is no point to it. There's no fun in it. There's no future. If you don't have a cure, there's no future. So there has to be groups out there like this looking for a way to slow it down, to change it, an immunity. And maybe Robert Kirkman said there will never be a cure. I'll never tell how the virus started. It won't end that way. That's fine. But it doesn't mean there's not people out there devoting their time, devoting their attention to finding it. So I think we finally have our real group out there. A group of scientists. Military grade backing. Helicopters. Resources. Medical devices. Food. Ecom said, could the bees be sent to work camps as to be a lab? Look, I'm not saying that there can't be a villain or a diabolical nature. But I don't see this kind of like The Walking Dead as a Despicable Me type of show where people are back there trying to create hybrid zombies because they need to protect themselves. If you've got helicopters and you got firepower, do you really need to mutate zombies to defend yourself? All you got to do is go up in the air, and when you see a group of people, you just shoot them down. So I think in some regards we're making this too sci-fi. We're making it too detailed. I mean, we can certainly speculate it. We can talk about it. But we don't know that yet. We're going to have to see a little bit more to really run with that theory. And I do think it's more feasible at this point that, I mean, this is a group that picked up poor bleeding to death Rick just so they can heal him and test him. Yeah, it seems like a lot of resources. So I think if you're a doctor, I think if you're a medic, I think if somebody needs to save a life, this seemed like an act of people that were true medical professionals, that they wanted to save his life. But I wouldn't argue and say that there are some of those morally flexible on the other end of that, and maybe the two groups are working in conjunction with each other. Maybe, Will. Oh, I got you, Will. So Will the Bill Super Chat says, doesn't make sense though, no main B characters missing on the show. Who was she trading off scene. Well, I don't know that she was trading B characters. That's my point. She could have been trading only A's. It doesn't mean, just because there's an A and a B, doesn't mean that they want B's. They may avoid B's like the plague. Like, we don't want to keep sending people out here to help your people, to help this person that got shot, to help this person that broke their leg. We don't want to provide these resources. I don't think she's trading B's at all. I think she's trading A's, and a B was just calling on a favor. Or maybe she traded a few A's and got some pushback in the past, and they're like, hey, Jadis, yeah, you told us this is an A. They started crying 5 minutes into the treatment. That's a B. Do a little better next time. Over and out. We're not going to give you any food. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm seeing this group operate. June Smith, I'm fearing they're going to turn Rick's movies into science fiction. I'm not feeling that. I want it to be the same universe. Well, June, they're going to have to turn it into something, because he ain't going to be Indiana Jones, because he can't shoot he can't shoot. Well, he learned to shoot at the very end. He hit dynamite. Now, sources tell me that shooting dynamite would not cause an explosion. I've never tried it. I'm not going to try it. I'm just saying there are some super geeks out there that said that's not the way it happens. But yeah, I will neither confirm nor dispel that personally. But who cares? He hit his target. That's all that matters. I was more happy that Rick hit something. You know, the only thing Rick needs to hit a target is he needs to be hallucinating, passing out, bleeding to death, and then he can shoot anything. Because if he's stone cold sober, yeah, just doesn't happen. And we have hit 57 minutes. Wow. Time flies when you're talking about Fear the Walking Dead and Rick Grimes. So, hey, are you guys having fun with Fear the Walking Dead? Does this up the ante a little bit more? This is back to, I felt like tonight we funneled it the same way we funnel The Walking Dead. I mean, it feels like Fear is taking that step into the Walking Dead universe. So, having a lot of fun with this. Hey, I want to thank you guys for passionate comments, passionate debate, getting involved. Absolutely. Of all the things we do on the channel, this is what I enjoy more than anything, is when we get together and start getting our theories out there. Tomorrow night, we're going to add a different layer onto it. I will guarantee you something we talk about this week will come true, because we got just a lot of deep, detailed Walking Dead minds in this stream. So think about what we talked about tonight. Bring your A game tomorrow. We're going to get into a little bit more extensive tie-ins, any clues, any theories, any things that we might have missed. Definitely bring it. Be prepared to talk about it. Will the Bill says, how dare you talk about Rick? It's okay, Jude. I got you. Stop it, Kills. And on that note, I do love me some Rick Grimes, and I am so looking forward to the movie, June. We're going to have a lot of fun. Everybody do me a big favor. If you guys can, the green team, if you guys can put up your pudding pop, our brand new super fan for the month of June is Mitch True Puddin'. So thank you so much. And we are about 3 members. We got a brand new member last night. So if you guys are interested in joining the green team, there is a join button down below. Once we get 3 more members, we are going to unlock our 75 milestone emoji. So to be a brand new emoji that we can add, and then after that, it's going to be, we got to get another 25. So I think we're going to add a few more. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Real quick shout out to all the Patreons, top left-hand corner. Patreons support this channel. They advertise for us. They do all kinds of cool stuff. They're my partners. We do surveys. We do conversations. We do some kills coins on Fridays. So a little bit extra with the patrons. You guys are interested in becoming a patron, there is a link down below in the description. Also, you can see in the top right-hand corner, those are the channel members that have been members for over 6 months. That list is going to grow really, really quickly because we got a lot of people that are 3 months, 4 months. So that list is going to get longer and longer. They're the green team. Also, the super chatters tonight. Thank you so much to all the people super chatted. Real quick, I'm going to go through a ton of you guys. Will the Bill super chatting. Valar, Fluff the Flamethrower, Steph the Cuervo Queen, Najee Watts, thank you. June Smith as well. Princess Pie, Ecom, pleasure as always. Sheila Mac 10, all of you guys, and multiple super chats from every one of them. So thank you so much. You guys are incredible. And really quickly, I got like a minute left. So in 1 minute, you guys do me a favor. The last shout out is for the 999 Army. I like to save that for last. Give me a quick 999 so I can get as many people included in this as possible. There you can see Chris Rainig in the house. Thank you so much. Rebecca Mendez, thank you. Princess Pie. Heart of Nixie, thank you. Coma Drug, appreciate you being here. Grimes on the radio. Army Brat, Ando1, Rhonda DeLuca, thank you. Roxanne Dunlap, Dark Star, Ida Roma, Joyce Andrews, I see you. Cammie, thank you. Marcia Derbyshire, appreciate you being here. Gushy Gouche, Newfield 12, Jim 09, Julia Muse, Lynn Nesvik, Valar, Sheila Mac 10, thanks to both of you. David, thank you. Robin Vance, Graylin 28, Walani, Charmed Original. Appreciate you doing some homework on us for those time frames, Charmed. Mark Jacob, thank you. Storm 3851, Jake Gunter, Hippo in the house. The Smile Man, thank you. Mike Reiser, Northside Queen, Logan 5. Also, once again, a shout out to Tommy Manbun McCandless. Happy birthday to you, Manbun. Khaleesi, thank you. Listening, putting away the laundry. Daryl Stoltz, thank you. Appreciate everything you do, my man. Oh, hey, Tommy, thanks for joining us on your birthday. We appreciate that, you being here. Thank you, Julia. Amazing stream tonight. I really love rolling up the sleeves and getting down into the CSI stuff. A lot of fun. Fears exceeding expectations. Everybody else, if I missed you for a shout out, nothing personal. It streams really fast. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. Peace.